Hello there and welcome to T4's on a budget. Today we're doing Advanced Idea Mechanics, shorter version AIM. We're a privately funded think tank ready to make some great technology and take over the world. But before that, let's roll that intro. But before even that, if you like this content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like if you like the video, check out my other T4's. I mean, even if you don't like the content, hit that subscribe button. What's the worst that could happen? No, don't you worry. I'm sure that won't happen. Let's do that intro now then, shall we? Welcome back, guys. So, yeah, as from the intro, we're going to do AIM today, T4's on a budget, just kind of like this video is. But, hope you like the intro, but let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get to it. We're going to go straight into our roster and have a look at what we need to do for AIM. As I've explained in one of my ones before this, just to make sure you remember that this is on a budget. This is not necessarily all the ones you should ever want for this team or would want to get for any of the previous teams. By all means, if you want to go heavy into them, you can go into more of the T4's. I do explain that in every video, or at least I try my best to. But also, you know, you want to remember this is for on a budget, so this is trying to spread, only trying to do for like sort of like 3 for every team minimum or maximum. We sometimes do push over to 4, on others 5 unfortunately, but I try to keep it as minimum as possible so you can get the most out of every team in the game for as little as possible on these T4's, because they are scarce material. But none of my nattering on, we're going to go straight into Scientist Supreme, the leader, the big girl. Not actually big girl, but you know what I mean. So with a basic, we are looking at not doing that because it is just a 40% damage upgrade. It is not worth doing just for 40% damage. She's not the damage dealer anyway, so they're not worth it. As you can see from my infograph, which is down in the description below, you will see that this has got a raid only. So when she's on an AIM team, you rarely get more than 3 negative effects on each of your AIM allies or herself. Because usually security is thrown them back, so the ones that are left and usually flipped with this, and you flip 3 of all your allies, so that's never really needed to 4. So why is it 4 for raid? So if you're using her in U7 in the tech team or anything like that, she's going to apply negative effects to your own teammates, and some other enemies may apply extra negative effects on top of that, so you may need those extra negative effect flipped. Sometimes I've done it where you're left with a heal block on 2 of your characters because she only did 3 instead of 4. As you can see, I haven't got it, but she's not part of my U7 team anymore, so I haven't gone into this as much as I would like to, but definitely worth doing if you are using in U7 still. Worth that, I would say, for definite. But we're going to move on, and that is onto retro vaccination. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too much. So this heals all allies for an extra 3,500% health. Not percent, sorry, just base health. So it isn't that much when you think about it. Yes, it's to all allies, but unfortunately it's only 3,500. That's nothing in the grand scheme of things now in this game. Like, most people just whisper and they take that kind of health off. And the extra focus per AIM ally is nice, but she already gets quite a lot of focus, and I've never run into a problem where her debuffs don't stick unless they've got stupid high resistance, which I don't think this then will overset too much. I could be wrong, but I just don't think it's worth doing. It hasn't been an issue where that would be needed. So we're going to go into AIM Monstrosity, which obviously, if you haven't seen the infograph, I'm doing 6 of the the AIM characters. So obviously, as you've seen, Scientist Supreme, Monstrosity, Assaulter, Security, Graviton, and Researcher. I use the first 5 I just said, and Researcher can be switched in from Monstrosity, but do not use Infector. He's rubbish. Unfortunately, he is absolutely useless. Useless. Get out of here. Okay, but back to the game. Whatever. Anyway, Bash. No. It is real nice to have it. Always doing it, but it's 90%, so 1 in 10 for 180 T4's. No thank you, not worth it. Moving on, Sudden Evolution. So this one is a yes, I find. More so, this one you can do without. You can live without it. You don't have to. By all means, it's super worth it, but you can live without it. It mainly is the extra bit of damage, but it's gaining that offense up before he attacks, and he hits like a truck. If you've got eye red stars on him, do this. Not even without a question. He will knock the bejeebers out of someone. Honestly. Do it. Anyway, Growth Spurt. 5% extra health is nice, but it's 5% extra health and it's just for him. Not worth 200 T4's in my opinion. Don't do it. Alright, we're going on to a Salter next. I go off my actual chart rather than what I've got on the page here on the game, but whatever, that's here, no, there, or anywhere. But with a Salter, we don't do his basic submachine gun. Again, it's 20% damage. You don't want just 20% damage to one target for a T4? That's ridiculous. Get out of here. We don't want to see that crap. So, we got this one. This one's alright. 50% damage is below average or average at best for a T4. The 25% damage to secondary attacks is real nice if he has a negative effect. It's very rare I find my assault has a negative effect on him, and then it's depending on how many negative effects they have. So even if you do get the 1 in every 6 match that happens, and the opponent has 4 negative effects at best, that's only an extra 100% damage from the secondary attacks, which is nice, but how rare that's going to happen is just not worth those T4's, unfortunately. Then we got Juicer. So this one I find very useful, depending where you place her, or him, security, assaulter. Depending where you place him, it probably is. It can really help your team, really help it. As in, the on-turn fills speed bar by 10% for self and adjacent AIM allies. So in turn, it does 20% speed bar. It might not sound like a lot, but he gets a lot of turns because he gets speed up all the time. So a lot of turns, then that adds on. So if you put in between your Scientist Supreme and Monstrosity, your Monstrosity's then going a lot, which then in turn gives offense up to Graviton next to him and your Assaulter. So it's just kind of like a continuous train. Your Scientist Supreme is going more chance for reviving, more chance for flipping negative effects, debuffing the enemy team, real good. And on to top it off, you do get that extra little bit of percentage damage, which is just a little cherry on top of the cake. So that's Assaulter done. We go straight over to Security. I think, backbone of this team. Without Security, you ain't got an AIM team, because you are getting all the debuffs on your team. Obviously, you can flip them with Science Supreme, but throwing them straight back onto your enemies, Security is a key factor. I absolutely love her. Definitely a her. You can tell by the body shape. And so we are going to go straight in. Unfortunately, though, Security, not necessarily unfortunately, maybe it's a good thing that all teams don't need so many T4's. It's nice to have a break. But only 40% damage to the primary target, and you won't be using it that much because you'll be only using her charge capacitor, which will deal with your taunts and stuff like that. So the heal for an extra 10,000 health, again, it's only 10,000. It's kind of like burped at these days, that kind of health. If that was a percentage, hell to the effing yes, you would do this. If that was a 10,000%, 10% health, definitely. Which I think it should be, but oh well, it's 10,000 normal health. I wouldn't say it's worth it. It's very rare that that's going to save your AIM Security from death or anything like that. So, and then the extra resistant is 5% resistant. No, don't. Just 5% resistant. That's never really going to come into play, guys. It just really isn't. Please don't do that one. So it's a no on all of them for security. So a nice easy take up there. Only need to go to 664. Alrighty then. So we've done all of them but Graviton and Researcher. So Researcher, even though you can see I've got more red stars than my Monstrosity, I still prefer my Monstrosity. I prefer offense over her defense. But if you want to use her instead of Monstrosity, by all means, we will go over her abilities. We got Wounding Shot. So this is kind of like the opposite of Monstrosity, where Monstrosity would give defense down, she goes offense down. I prefer just having Monstrosity's defense down, but this is the same. Instead of 90%, it's 70. Oh no, sorry, it would be 90, so exactly the same as Monstrosity. It's just not worth it for that 1 in 10. Surgery Drone, I wouldn't say it's worth, because you will get only always flip the bleed on the lowest health ally and adjacents, but again, with security and Science Supreme, you're not going to be needing to always flip bleeds. You're not going to have that many on you in the first place between those two. And then it's only 7%, 7,000 health base. Again, not worth it, so don't do that. Antidote is worth it though, because you always choose a random ally, and when a negative effect is applied to an AIM ally, fill this character's speed bar by an extra 10%. So, but with that always, if this is an AIM, if the ally is in the AIM, then randomly then apply 2 random positive effects. So this basically means she's always picking an AIM character on her turn and giving them 2 randomly good effects, which is nice, but again, and the speed's nice, but I just prefer my offense. But definitely do this one if you're using Researcher. It's definitely worth doing. Don't need it, but worth it. So that would be a yay. Alrighty then. So we are coming up now to the end. We have got the big one, the Graviton, or Graviton, whatever. We got Gravity Well, which is a no, because it is nice on the primary, you get the average 50%, but then you get the bonus 25% on secondary attacks per negative effect. This is similar to Assaulter, but more chance of this actually working because he doesn't need a negative effect on him like Assaulter does. Still, I don't think it's worth it that much. It doesn't, I think, come into play that often. This is only damage. It is to primary and adjacent, but it is just damage. I don't think it's worth the T4's. That's the no. So we got the Singularity, which is his ultimate. Again, it's just damage. It's not piercing. It's not adjacent. It's basic. Not worth 240 big T4's. Definitely not worth it in my eyes. That'd be a no. So we got Weight of the World. Ally minions gain 10% damage. So that will be Monstrosity, Security, who doesn't need it because he's Security, he's not supposed to be doing damage, and your Assaulter. So 2 would benefit from this. But they'd only gain 10% each. And that ain't amazing in the grand scheme of things. It's okay. If you're struggling on war, so let's say you're using this into an Asgardians team, which I have videos on of them beating even powered Asgardian teams, even one I think punching up about 20k into an Asgardian team, and that's with no revives, no double taps. Check that out on my channel. But if you are struggling with them, this can actually be the thing that makes you tip the edge to beat them. So if you're like not being able to take the Thor out quite as quick or something like that, do this one for war if it's necessary, and then you'll find that's what fixes the problem if you're having those issues. But usually this team at all 666-4 will be able to beat the Asgardians around the same level. Obviously there's variables involved. If it's like 100k 4 and a bunch of 30ks, the other team, you might struggle because that Thor can be lethal. Same with like a Hela. Obviously it's dependent on balance. It's no exact science, but there probably is exact science if you do punch the numbers and do every single scenario by every single percentage. But you've got time for that. Anyway, that's not what the point is. But yeah, do that one for war if you're struggling against those teams like I just said. But that's everyone covered. That's everyone here down at Advanced Idea Mechanics. Hopefully you know what to do with us now, so we can start punching up and doing our job. But that's all from me here today. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button. I'm Joho, and you stay classy, YouTube.